Dear learners, I am happy to conduct 5th session of 3rd week. Today we are going to discuss global lighthouses use cases. As you know, in the last session I have introduced World Economic Forum global lighthouses companies. Global lighthouses companies are one of the best examples in manufacturing for learning how global industry is using Industry 4.0 and now Industry 5.0. These all companies have set a benchmark which is worth learning for rest of the industry. So I thought, no, in this course I will like to give this advantage to our learners and students that how global companies are making use of Industry 4.0. As you must have noticed that in this course we have quite a few examples, use cases, case studies of global majors, manufacturing companies and other companies as well as. I believe that if we like to learn technology, especially Industry 4.0, after knowing the technology which are supporting or enabling this phenomena of Industry 4.0, one of the important way of learning is that learning from the successful case studies how global companies or Indian companies are applying the digital technologies for their business outcomes. So in this context, let us start this session of use cases. First, I will like to explain, though I am sure that most of you must be knowing about the use cases, but I thought, just for sake of completeness, let me also introduce the concept of use cases. You are seeing two examples. One is the money transfer in Phone P. Phone P is one of the app which is developed by NPCI, and a large number of our citizens are using this app. I am sure that some of you must be also using Phone P. If you like to use Phone P for sending of the money, these are the steps you are following. Open the Phone P app, transfer the money, choose the recipient, and then enter the amount which you want to send, and then once you are satisfied, then you confirm and the money is sent. Similarly, in case of Google Maps, you like to suppose seek the direction from Google Map, you will open this Google Map app, and then you will set that current location and your destination. That's all. And then Google Map will start guiding you the path, if there is alternative path available, and then you use that. So these are the typical examples of use cases. And if you like to see use cases in a pictorial manner, I have also put these two pictures. As you see that here, when you open the Phone P and you get a placeholder where you have to put the how much money you want to send, and then you have to first you have to key in your identification. This is called UPI PIN, and then once you confirm that, then you enter the amount, and then your money. If you have a balance, if there is no problem on the recipient side, the money will be sent. Similarly, in case of the Google Map, you are seeing the way you use it day to day on your smartphone. Now, if somebody asks you that what is the purpose of use cases, I will say the purpose of use cases is the user interaction and system functionalities. How you interact with the system, that is one of the characteristic of the use case, and what kind of functionality system is going to provide, that is also one of the function of use case. Let us proceed to some manufacturing use case. Here I am showing, I have described that a manufacturing use case of predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance, and is being normally used by maintenance engineers whatsoever. And the goal of this use case is prevent unplanned factory downtime by repairing a machine before it breaks. In our plant area, when you work in the plant area full of machines and equipments, this is always a challenge to maintain, to keep their running, and we should get a proactive alert. In case machine is going to fail, we should get a proactive alert. And for this purpose, predictive maintenance applications are being used in most of the companies, which are manufacturing or supply chain kind of companies. So how the flow will work? As we have learned that IoT sensors will capture the data from the machine on regular basis, then AI enabled analytics tools will be deployed to analyze this data, and if there are any anomalies being found or any alert has to be generated, system will generate that alert and it will be sent to the engineer for taking the necessary action. There is a certain objective of this use case, like pump is repaired proactively, the factory avoid a catastrophic failure, and 0% unplanned downtime should be achieved. So when we implement this use case or we use this use case, some business value which we have discussed in the beginning of this week should be also addressed. That company should try to maximize overall equipment effectiveness, drastically reduce the expensive and unplanned downtime. So now you must have understood that what is the purpose of the use cases and how the use cases are being constituted. But I won't be describing all use cases which we are going to see now in this order. I will be giving some perspective of each of the use cases so that you get a very good horizon, and it will be sometimes difficult for you to understand those technically and functional oriented use cases. So kindly excuse me for that purpose. But you will be able to understand that. Now I have shown this use case in a pictorial form, which you can see here, which we have just described. Predictive maintenance, IoT sensors on a critical pump. Suppose this is a pump we are trying to maintain, continuously stream data and is being analyzed by a AI system, and AI model detect a pattern that predict a bearing failures in the machine. There is a bearing in the machine, and then engineer review the alert and confirm the prediction, and the necessary action is being taken. So this is a way use case. Whenever you are developing a use case, you should always develop first the descriptive way, and then you should also try to develop in some sort of workflow, in some picture. So let us now study some of the use cases which global lighthouse companies are using for implementation of Industry 4.0. The purpose of these use cases which I am introducing to you is that to show the effectiveness of Industry 4.0. If you like to understand Industry 4.0 in the application context, the study of use cases is one of the best way to understand the power and the potential of Industry 4.0 for the industry. So I have created 4 or 5 categories. One of the categories is the advanced analytics and predictive operation, and this is one of the category which has been also notified by World Economic Forum in one or two cases, one of the white papers of global lighthouses. So the use cases like predictive maintenance is one of the very common use case which most of the companies are using. Machine alarm. What is machine alarm? Here whenever there is a malfunction or there is a alarm generated in one of the equipment or a group of equipments, then with the help of this kind of use cases, alarms are being analyzed, and if there is something action has to be taken, or there is some problem coming, then accordingly action is being alerted, and necessary action the person who is supposed to take action, that alert is being sent to that technician or that person. Similarly, there are some use cases which govern the machine performance. Machine performance, it is not only the predictive maintenance, but regular performance of the machine is also being, and how to optimize that performance of the machine. So here also AI enabled, and algorithms are being used, that this machine or this equipment should be run, should be operated in what manner, with what speed, with what current, like that. So that is also being predicted by AI enabled algorithms. Then there are some concepts which are being used in the industry, especially process industry. I don't know, some of you must be aware of that, those who are studying chemical engineering or mechanical engineering, that AI power process control, AI analytics platform for deviations. This is very important that analytics platforms are being regularly being now deployed for finding the deviation in the performance of the machine, in the performance or the production deviation, etc., and to identify the root cause analysis. So these kind of use cases are commonly found while the study was done for the global lighthouses. What are the benefits? These are the benefits which has been like improved asset utilization, enhanced quality management, optimized process parameters. And which kind of technologies are being used to develop and to use this kind of use cases? Analytic AI, machine learning, IoT sensors, big data, and cloud computing. So you can see that one of the important area of Industry 4.0 is to make use of the advanced analytics and predictive operation. Second, very important area of Industry 4.0 is to empower and augment that manpower, that staff, the manpower, those who are operating on the machine, or those who are involved in designing, doing R&D, doing operating of the machine, doing maintenance. All these kind of technical forces are being now getting the great advantage of Industry 4.0 tools. So what kind of tools are there? Like there is a tool for digital recruitment. Platforms are being generated. Many companies are now analyzing that suppose they have some requirement of for the manpower or the technical person. They analyze all applications with the help of first AI enabled some tools so that they can shortlist out of say 1,000 applications has been received, and there are 10 vacancies and they want to shortlist 100. So they become it is being used with the help of technology. It's the help of technology. The many companies are using this kind of tools. Smart workforce skill, very important. That how you upskill your manpower. One is that you should have a classroom session. But nowadays it is not necessary that you should have a classroom session. With the help of augmented reality and virtual reality. Second thing, even you have the classroom session, but you want to give the reality check. You want to show the live functioning of the plant or your machine. That time you can't, it is not easy to take everybody to the remote sites. So with the help of augmented reality and virtual reality glasses, you are able to, we can train them. Many companies are using AR, VR for training purposes. Remote assistant using augmented reality. This is also one of the facts which we have already discussed when we studied the AR, VR technology. And also companies are by and large using technologies like augmented reality and structured training program and AI supported tools for their improving the performance, empowering their manpower. And we have seen that these are the figures I have taken from the reports only. Compressed learning curves by 30 to 50% is increased. Workforce productivity has increased. Better safety, because we are using technology, it provides better safety tools, etc. So this is what the companies are, those companies who are leveraging Industry 4.0 are getting benefited with the help of these kind of use cases. In the same category of empowerment and augmentation, when we study that various reports, we find that these kind of use cases, like very important use cases is that digital dashboard. In fact, in my company also, our team has developed real-time dashboards, what is happening in the plant, what is happening in this equipment, what action is to be taken, what is the reason for that, what is the reason of this kind of mishappening in any of the machine, in any of the process. This event has happened for what reason? All these things are being being now managed, being monitored with the help of real-time dashboards. In the next week, we will be learning digital twin. This is also one of the very important technology and being used in multiple use cases. And also with the help of today technologies, and technology especially online collaborations through some of the softwares as well as, concept like, community of practice, collaboration with the universities and a joint program with the universities, creating a platform for the joint program is also one of the very important use cases where technologies are helping, Dedicated digital colleges. Many companies has, implemented the concept of academics, like, Tata Steel is having, dedicated, academic classrooms, which are located in one location, but provide training to globally, because their workforce is, deployed globally. So, with the help of technology, they are able to, make use of digital technologies to deliver the lectures, to train their manpower. That is what, So, these are the key drivers: digital dashboard, IoT, augmented reality, and, digital platform. Important aspect, we should note that, the digital platform, whether you are using digital platform for your management of your operation, whether you are using digital platform for management of your, monitoring of the events, whether you are using digital platform for providing the training. This is has becoming one of the important technology which companies are looking for. And when we study that, the global lighthouses, use cases, we find that, digital platform is also one of the key focus of these companies, Supply chain resilience and control towers. This is another group of the use cases I thought we will share. And all these use cases which you are seeing over here, or which I am trying to explain, these are from these reports. And these use cases, again I insist that is for the benefit of the rest of the industry, that this sort of use cases can be thought by other industries, and they can take benefit of the technology industry 4.0. Like use cases like analytic driven procurement supported by SPAN. So now you can take the help of analytics, which kind of products, which kind of spare parts I should keep in the stock, which are fast moving items, and which are the items which we should place the order on demand. So like that, all this analysis based on the past patterns of last 5 or 10 years can be developed. These kind of patterns can be developed with the help of analytics. Analytics proactively tell the management that now this spare part is going to be in the minus, or is going to be on the threshold limit. We should better place the order to procure this spare parts. Like that, analytics driven procurement is being used in the companies. Similarly, smart workforce scaling, which we already discussed. Digital supplier performance management is very important use case which companies are using, though it is not so easy to develop. But once you have a connectivity, once you set the KPIs for the performance of your supplier, that whether they have supply in time, whether their products are up to the specification which you have given, and if there is a repair ask, there is a replacement ask, whether they have given the replacement in time. All these parameters has to be fed, or has to be available in the system, and then the performance of suppliers can be managed. So this is also one of the use cases companies are using for the better management of their suppliers. Supplier material quality predictions also is very important use cases, which are the technologies again being used over here: edge computing, AI driven simulation, blockchain, which we are going to learn in the next week, and IoT, AI analytics, which I have already discussed. So this is another area of supply chain resilience. With the help of these kind of use cases, there is a resilience, or there is a assurance of supply chain. It will be if we don't want any disruption in the supply chain, especially in the large companies. These kind of use cases are recommended. End-to-end value chain integration. It is little different. Here, we are looking for an integration. Like, one side we have the supplier, other side we have the operation or manufacturing, and third side, last mile is that logistic management and demand forecasting. Mostly in every company there is a department who manage the supply chain. There is a whole lot of activity in the manufacturing, and then when product are ready, then it's being handled by marketing or logistic teams. So what end-to-end value chain integration says that with the help of technologies, we should have integration of these value chains, so that we can have on-demand kind of supply, on-demand kind of manufacturing. So what kind of use cases are being used in this case? Supplier and material management, digital supplier performance, this we have already discussed, digital procurement, digitally enabled negotiations, and logistic delivery control tower. This is again very important use case where logistic and delivery is being monitored with the help of some software or some platform. Is called digital logistic control tower. The control tower means there is a platform over there. Then warehouse management is also one of the important use cases for value chain integration, because if you don't have the space to keep the goods, you keep receiving the goods, then it become sometime overkilling. Robotic analytic execution, blockchain, end-to-end product customer connectivity. What is this use case? Where you like to have connectivity with your customers. What kind of products they are going to demand now? What is the status of the consumption of the products which were supplied earlier? This kind of use cases are also being developed with the help of Industry 4.0. I have given here the technologies which are being generally used here. So what are the benefits we are getting with the help of these use cases? Greater end-to-end visibility, improved delivery reliability, enhanced customer experience, improved product tracking, and market responsiveness. These are some of the very important market focus initiative which any company wants to take, and which help them to one side that help them to make their supply function, manufacturing function, and delivery and logistic function is smart. And also it also give them a very good customer experience portfolio, so that customers once become very happy, then they can also try to depend on this company, try to give more business to this company. Here in this slide I am discussing basically the technology drivers. If you see the kind of technology drivers which I require, and which I have given in the three categories: supply network connectivity, risk material management, and digital procured contract. So let us start with the supply network connectivity. Agile buying through price prediction. So with the help of now software, a price is being predicted before you buy, that you will be able to place the order at this price. Supplier may ask you some X price, but algorithms do the prediction based on what is going on in the market, and say you can buy, or you can place you will be able to buy this product at this price after some negotiations, etc. Aggregate demand across end-to-end supply network, analytic-driven procurement, which we already discussed. Cloud platform. This is one of the technology which is very important. Most of the companies who are deployed Industry 4.0, especially global lighthouses, they have very matured policy of the cloud platform. Whether they have their in-house cloud, or they have they are using clouds of the companies like Microsoft, or AWS cloud of Amazon. So most of the companies are having a very strong, very rich legacy of using a cloud platform. And also there are quite a few companies who are using it successfully for the risk management, also risk and material management of the use cases. This is also very important, that suppose there is a material short, as we have seen during the time of that COVID-19, that many products were in the short supply, and that time supply chain was mostly supply chain but disrupted. How we can predict that? What are the reasons of the supply chain disruption, and is there any way to overcome that supply chain? There also technologies are being deployed to make this kind of prediction, like big data and AI, blockchain, etc. So I thought this is a very important area for all of us to learn, that how global companies are using this. And then we discuss in the next session the Tata Steel case study. You will find that how Tata Steel kind of companies are using this kind of use cases. So now we have come to the very important part of this discussion on the use cases. Everybody knows about the robots and robotics. And what is cobots? When robots start helping the workers, and they work together with workers, you can't operate the robot without the worker. That is called cobots. So by and large, use of cobots is happening in the large number of companies, and it is again one of the recommended use case. Here, you get precision in the action, as well as when you use the cobots, it enhances the productivity of the manpower as well as. So these are the very important use cases, and companies who are very successful using Industry 4.0, they largely start using cobots now. Augmented reality for automation, remote assistance using augmented reality. When some workers are in the remote areas where they don't have any facility of technicians, or they don't have facility of some labs. So with the help of augmented reality tools, like manufacturing this AR VR glasses, they can get connected with their cloud systems, their back office, and they will be able to perform their responsibility much better way. So this is also one of the important use case of using augmented reality for enhancing the performance of workers in remote location. Autonomous mobile robot AMRs. This is also one of the important use of these autonomous mobile robots. AMRs are increasing day by day, and it is helping companies to reduce one side the dependence upon the technical manpower, depending upon the wherever there is a manpower issues. Like in Japan, the manpower issue is very big, as compared to some other Asian countries, where they have quite a surplus workforce. So in those kind of situations, and to automate the work, autonomous mobile robots are being largely used by the manufacturing companies, and this has been found in the study of the global lighthouses. Similarly, this is a use case which we discussed, computer vision, when we studied computer vision, that AI-powered automated testing and repair. With the help of computer vision, quite a few companies are applying computer vision and AI technology for the inspection purposes. So this is also a very important use case which has been found when World Economic Forum and McKinsey studied the success of global lighthouses. Companies are using, many companies are using for inspection and testing AI and computer vision kind of technologies. Now moving to the quality, there is a use case in AI-powered automated testing. In case of testing also, many companies are using automated testing, so that is also one of the important use case. Digital quality management under this root cause analysis is also one of the important aspect. Now, which is earlier being done manually. Now with the advent of technologies, large companies are especially designing the analytic platform, or they make use of that cloud services, and they are successfully deploying some of the platforms, some of the software for root cause analytics. So predict preventive goals, and advanced analytics is a real-time process control. These are the technologies which are being used by these companies for doing the root cause analytics, which earlier it was being done manually mostly. Similarly, for digital quality audit and control also, when the study was done, it was found that many companies start using for audit purpose also digital technologies. There is another area of digital work instructions. Earlier instructions are being referred either verbally or in the Excel file, or some digital document, Word documents. Now, with the help of some technologies like augmented reality, AI, digital work instructions, and quality functions, here digital work instructions are being obtained. In the suppose the workers are in the plant, and they want to get to know there is an anomaly they are seeing. They want to get to know how to handle, how to face this anomaly. So instead of referring these documents on the computer or whatever, they can connect with the augmented reality glasses, and they can get the instructions from the system itself. So that is also one of the important use case of Industry 4.0 technologies. Similarly, display standard procedures for online operation with integrated workflow is also very important use cases where many companies are using. With this, we come to the end of this session, and I hope that you have understood the use of these use cases in various situations of the manufacturing as well as other companies who are in the supply and the logistic management, etc. So thank you very much for giving your kind attention, and we look forward for the next session as well as. Thank you.